Okay, it's actually recording, and Christ almighty, I've tried to record this like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, but I keep doing dumb stuff that keeps ruining it. I just did a whole nother go at answering these, and I zoomed in on my face, so it was just my eyes that could be seen. It was like, hello, welcome, this is my face, enjoy. Which was obnoxious, and I'm getting annoyed at this now. Basically what I did was, I asked the internet some questions a couple days ago, and I said, ask me anything, and I will do my best to answer them, assuming that that's not like bank details and stuff like that. I don't answer those. And so I took those questions, and I took the best of them, and I gave everyone who asked a question, at least one question. And I wrote it all down on this archaic paper here, all sorts of questions. I left myself little notes, and some of these, I left notes for myself while under the influence of either alcohol or sickness, so they're a bit everywhere, and hopefully this camera isn't going to be everywhere too. But I think this is the first page over here? It is. Okay. And so the fine Pibster asks me, why haven't we had sex yet? The answer is obvious, my friend, and that's because we would be unable to stop staring at each other's eyes long enough to make love. We'd be lost. And the next question, I'm just going to plow right through these, because I'm annoyed that I've had to do this multiple times now, and if it zooms in on me again, I'll be frustrated. The next question is by the lovely Lorna, and she asks, who are you? And adds a little surprised face. And I know that she adds the surprised face in text, not like in person. I didn't meet her. I didn't ask her a random question, and she just shouted back, who are you? That's not what happened, promise. Yes, she asked, who am I? So, I figured I'd be a bit poetic. I was forged, I would say, in the depths of the hellfire of San Francisco. And then I was cast out into the wild and raised by a crowd of sexually frustrated wolves. And then I was cast out from them and sent to Vegas, where I learned to be a stage magician and a pimp. And then some stuff happened that I'm not all too proud of, and now here I am. I am Daniel, some kind of wizard, and the kind of wizard that your mother warned you about. That's one page done. Let's move on to the next one. This one here is from the Shagadelic Shirimpu, and he asks, if you were a bird, what kind of tree would you be? Yeah, that's exactly what he asked me, and it's very confusing, I understand. But the answer is simple, my friends, and that would be the one with the most money. Also the longest, hardest, firmest, sweetest wood that you could ever see. Yeah, as you would. The next question comes from the smooth Noximus, and he asks, I just met, and this is crazy, so here's my number. Call me, maybe? Greg, I tried calling you, and I keep getting a Chinese takeaway, and they keep shouting at me when I ask for your name, and they say you're not on your menu. I might need a new number from you. The next question comes from the buxom Brie, and she asks, what is my favourite pair of underwear? And that is the pair that I'm not wearing, because they're the pair I'm not wearing, ladies. That was ridiculous. Let's grab another one of these pages. There you go, this one here. It is from Josh, and he asks, are there any particular games that stood out when you first started gaming? And yes, there is, and that would be Baldur's Gate 2. Because I was that kind of nerd who had giant 300-page fantasy novel books when he was just a young'un, my first experience with an RPG was, well, it was incredible. I mean, it was the books that I'd always been reading, but in game format, and it was challenging, and it was interesting. And even now, before my time is done on this earth, I'll probably end up playing it again, because I just loved it. Baldur's Gate 2. And he also asks me, Flying Raptor Jesus versus the Super Pope, who would win? Well, that, my friend, is obvious, because one of those are imaginary. So, of course, Flying Raptor Jesus would win, because everyone knows there's no such thing as a Super Pope. It's just a tall-hatted myth. He also asks me, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And I'd say, if he'd had 5 to 10 drinks, he'd chuck all of it. That's another piece of paper down. Just 2 more to go, my friends, just 2 more to go. And this one comes from the lovely Celine. She asks, if you could have any occupation with no conditions or consequences and no one would judge you for it, what would you be? Well, failing being the world's sexiest space astronaut / pimp of the stars, I would love to be a Let's Player, or make a living doing webcomics. Like if I could live off of those, you know, consequence free, that would be amazing, because that would be being creative, and being creative with a product that you love and making a living off of it. But what I do is just entirely down to a pastime, because accountancy is good money. She also asks me, what is my favourite childhood memory? My answer to this is kind of dull. I didn't exactly get out much as a child. My favourite childhood memory is watching my dad or my younger brother play video games, because I liked watching video games a lot more than I liked playing them for a long period of time. Like, it was just a good way to pass the time for me. Just how it is. It was always interesting seeing how they would do particular things. And the last question. If you could have an hour-long conversation with anyone at all, who would it be? Now, I left myself notes for this one, and it gave me an option of 3 answers, and they're only referred to as the charming answer, the arsehole answer, and the serious answer. So presumably the charming answer is, well, of course, the answer is you. And the arsehole answer would be, of course, the answer is me. Because meeting myself for an hour-long conversation would be twisted and wrong, but it would also be hilarious. I'd probably hate me, my stupid face. I'd strike me with a chair. And then my serious answer is Day 9. Because Day 9 is one of the coolest guys in esports, and meeting him would be incredible, and I would have to give him the manliest of manly hugs. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole of the AMA, and hopefully this recording didn't go wrong either. And there's only one way to find out, and that's me to slowly turn this camera around. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Hopefully you aren't all getting vertigo from this wobbliness. This also is my awesome wall, with all sorts of cool stuff on it. And I will see you all next time. Have a magical evening.